A student's overview of the ageless wisdom was carefully compiled from the following books by Alice A. Bailey. A Treatise on Cosmic Fire. Esoteric Psychology, Volumes 1 and 2. Esoteric Healing. Esoteric Astrology. The Rays and the Initiations. Students are encouraged to download the free PDF version of this overview by following the link in the video's description, or to order a printed copy at cost from thebookpatch.com, but are advised to read the original, unabridged books in order to gain deeper insight into the ageless wisdom. Students are also invited to join our online study group at facebook.com/groups/students of the ageless wisdom. Chapter 13, A Treatise on Cosmic Fire. The Laws of Thought. A. The Laws of Thought. There are three great laws, that we might term the fundamental laws of the cosmos, of that greater system of which we form a part, and 7 laws inherent in the solar system. 1. The law of synthesis. The first is the law that demonstrates the fact that all things, abstract and concrete, exist as one. It is the law governing the thought form of that one of the cosmic Logos, in whose consciousness both our system, and our greater center, have a part. It is a unity of his thought. 2. The law of attraction. Fundamentally, the law describes the compelling force of attraction that holds our solar system to the Sirian, that holds our planets revolving around our central unit, the Sun, that holds the lesser systems of atomic and molecular matter circulating around a center, and that holds the matter of all physical plane bodies, and their subtle bodies, coordinated around their microcosmic center. 3. The law of economy. This law adjusts all that concerns the material and spiritual evolution of the cosmos to the best possible advantage and with the least expenditure of force. B. 7 systemic laws. Subsidiary to the 3 major laws, we find the 7 laws of our solar system, demonstrating the 3 becoming the 7 as seen elsewhere in the logoic scheme. In each of these 7 laws we find an interesting correlation with the 7 planes. 1. The law of vibration, the basis of manifestation starting on the first plane. 2. The law of cohesion, on the second plane. Cohesion is first apparent, as it is the first molecular plane of the system, and is the home of the monad. Divine coherency is demonstrated. 3. The law of disintegration. On the third plane comes the final casting off, the ultimate shedding of the sheaths, of the 5-fold Superman. A Chahan of the 6th initiation discards all sheaths beneath the monadic vehicle, from the atomic to the physical. 4. The law of magnetic control. This holds sway paramountly on the Buddhic plane, and the development of the control of this law lies hid the control of the personality by the monad via the egoic body. 5. The law of fixation demonstrates principally on the mental plane and has a close connection with manas, the 5th principle. The mind controls and stabilizes, resulting in coherency. 6. The law of love, the law of the astral plane. It aims at the transmutation of the desire nature, and links it up with the greater magnetism of the love aspect on the Buddhic plane. 7. The law of sacrifice and death, the controlling factor on the physical plane, concerning the destruction of the form in order that the evolving life may progress, and is one of the fundamental methods in evolution. The intermediate law of karma. There is also an intermediate law, which is the synthetic law of the system of Sirius. The Lipika lords of our system, the systemic lords of karma, are under the rule of a greater corresponding lord on Sirius. A. The three cosmic laws of synthesis, attraction and economy. B. The Sirian law of karma. C. The 7 laws of the solar system. It is significant that in this greater Manvantara, the Logos is to take the 4th cosmic initiation. A hint lies in the correspondences between this and the 4th root race and this, the 4th or astral round. Each one of us, in due process of evolution, forms part of one of the heavenly men, who themselves form the 7 centers in that greater heavenly man, the Logos. Yet, thought we are merged with the whole, we do not lose our identity, but forever remain separated units of consciousness, though one with all that lives or is. In like manner, our Logos loses not his identity, even though he forms part of the consciousness of the Logos of Sirius. End of page 61. We may take the 7 laws of the solar system plane by plane. 1. Their effect as they demonstrate on the path of involution. 2. Their effect as they manifest on the path of evolution, the return. 3. As they affect the human and deva organisms that evolve through them. 1. The law of vibration. This is the law of the first plane and it governs all the atomic subplanes of each plane. It marks the beginning of the work of the Logos. It controls, among other things, the breaking up of the 1 into the 7 and the reabsorption back into the 1. It is analogous to the first movement the Logos made to express himself. He uttered a sound, a threefold sound, 1 sound for each of his 3 systems, and started a ripple on the ocean of space. The sound grows in volume as time progresses, and when it has reached its full volume, it forms one of the notes in the major cosmic chord. Each note has 6 subtones, which with the first, make the 7. The law of vibration, therefore, comprises 18 lesser vibrations and 3 major, making the 21 of our 3 systems. 2 multiplied by 9 makes the necessary 18, which is the key number of our love system. 27 holds hid the mystery of the 3rd. On the path of involution, the 7 great breaths or sounds drove to the atomic subplane of each plane, and there the basic vibration repeated in its own little world the method of logoic vibration, giving rise to 6 subsidiary breaths. The same correspondence is found in the rays, that the lines of vibration are 1-2-4-6, for involution is negative, receptive and corresponds to the feminine pole, just as the abstract rays were 2-4-6. On the path of evolution, this law controls the positive aspect of the process. All is rhythm and movement, and when all that evolves on each plane attains the vibration of the atomic subplane, then the goal is reached. The aim of evolution for us is love dominated by intelligence, or intelligence dominated by love, for the interaction will be complete. The human race came into the chain at a point where it naturally took bodies of the 5th astral and physical subplanes, and this is an analogy to the coming into the 4th root race of the more advanced egos. 2. The law of cohesion. A branch of the cosmic law of attraction, it demonstrates in this love system in a threefold manner. A. On the plane of the monad as the law of cohesion, the law of birth, resulting in the appearance of the monads in their 7 groups. love as the source and the monad of love as the result. b. On the plane of buddhi, as the law of magnetic control, it shows itself as the love-wisdom aspect, irradiating the ego and eventually gathering to itself the essence of all experience garnered via the ego through the personality lives, and controlled throughout from the plane of buddhi. Magnetism, and the capacity to show love, are occultly synonymous. c. On the astral plane, as love demonstrating through the personality. All branches of the law of attraction show as force that ingathers, that tends to coherence, resulting in adhesion and leading to absorption. On the path of involution it controls the primal gathering together of molecular matter, beneath the atomic subplane. It is the basis of the attractive quality that sets in motion the molecules and draws them into the needed aggregations. As the atomic subplane sets the rate of vibration, the law of cohesion fixes its coloring. In manifestation, the cosmic law of attraction controls all these subsidiary laws, just as the law of synthesis governs pralaya and obscuration, and the law of economy deals with the general working out of the logoic scheme along the line of least resistance. This second law governs specially the second plane and the second subplane on each plane. End of page 62. 3. The law of disintegration. This law governs the destruction of the form in order that the indwelling life may shine forth. It is another aspect, the reverse side, of the law of cohesion. It is one of the laws that ends with the solar system, where the great laws of attraction, cohesion and love last on into that which is to come. The law of economy holds the key to understanding this law. This law is one of the most difficult for the race to understand, due to the fact that some of its workings are perceived as chaos and destruction. On the path of involution it controls the processes of the breaking up of group souls, governs the periods when the permanent triads are transferred from one form to another. It works through the great world cataclysms, not only on the physical plane but the astral and lower levels of the mental plane. This law breaks up the forms and the law of attraction draws back to primal source the material of those forms, prior to rebuilding them anew. On the path of evolution the effects of this law are well known and concern the breaking up of the forms in which great ideals are embodied. The third ray has a close connection with this third law. It is through activity that the form comes into being. Through activity it is employed, and through that very adaptation it becomes a perfect form. At the moment of perfection loses its usefulness, it crystallizes, breaks and the evolving life escapes to find new forms of greater capacity and adequacy. It is so in the life of the reincarnating ego, it is so in the rounds and races in humanity, it is so in the solar system. It is so in all cosmic processes. In the third chain, the moon chain, the point of attainment for the individual was the fourth initiation, which marks the final breaking with the three worlds and the disintegration of the egoic body. At the end of the third root race came the first of the great cataclysms that broke the race form and inaugurated a new one. 4. The law of magnetic control. This is the basic law controlling the spiritual triad, for through it, the force of evolution drives the ego to progress through the cycle of reincarnation back to union with his kind. Through separation he finds himself, and then, driven by the indwelling Buddhic or Christ principle, he transcends himself and finds himself again in other selves. This law holds the evolving lower self in a coherent form. It controls the ego in the causal body in the same way that the logos controls the monad on the second plane. It is the law of the Buddhic plane, and a master is one who can function there, who has magnetic control in the three worlds. The lower is always controlled from above, and its effect upon the three lower is paramount, though scarcely even conceded by our thinkers. It is the law of love, in the three worlds, that holds all together and draws all upward. On the path of involution, this law works with the permanent atoms in the causal body. It is the Buddhic principle, and its relation with the lower permanent atom of the triad is the mainspring of the life of the ego. The monadic plane, the Buddhic and the astral planes are all closely allied, as they provide the line of least resistance with regard to love-wisdom. Note the correspondences. System 1, physical, mental and atmic. System 2, astral, Buddhic and monadic. System 3, mental, atmic and logoic. This fourth law is the law whereby sex expression is transmuted and elevated, and is closely connected to the fourth ray. The laws in the three worlds. The three most important laws affecting the evolving human being as he lives his life in the three worlds are: 1. Fixation. 2. Love. 3. Sacrifice and death. These laws are all dominated by the three higher laws in the system, and there is a direct connection between these 7 laws and the 7 rays. A. The power aspect, ray 1, planes 1 and 5, and the laws of vibration and fixation, form one interlocking whole. B. The love aspect, ray 2, planes 2, 4 and 6, and the laws of cohesion, magnetic control and of love, form another unit. C. The activity aspect, ray 3, planes 3 and 7, and the laws of disintegration, sacrifice and death, make another group. End of page 63. In regard to the 4 minor rays, their control exists in degrees on all the planes, but they have their particular emphasis in the evolution of the reincarnating ego in the 3 worlds at this time, and control, in a subtle and peculiar manner, the 4 kingdoms of nature. In a subtle way, meaning a statement of actuality that seems to be an illusion, the 3 minor rays, 5, 6 and 7, have each a connection with the 3 kingdoms of nature below the human. 5. The law of fixation. This is the governing law of the mental plane, finding its greater correspondence in the law of karma on the cosmic mental levels. As a man thinks, so he is. According to his thoughts are his desires and acts, and so results the future. The word fixation is chosen for 2 purposes. The word implies the capacity of the thinker to shape his own destiny, and because it implies a stabilizing idea. It is the law under which the evolving personality builds up, during the course of many lives, the causal body. It also governs the time of rebirth, being one of the subsidiary branches of the law of karma. Each of the 7 subsidiary laws is linked to one of the cosmic laws, or with the Syrian law of karma. In the 5th round, this law will act as the divider, temporarily crystallizing and fixing the 2 great human monads as they evolve. One group, containing those who reach the goal, will pass gradually out from under the domination of this law and come under the law of magnetic control. The other will remain under the law in a static condition, until in a later period a fresh opportunity will come, the chance when they can again swing into the current of evolution and the imprisoned spirits may mount again towards their source. The devas are the mother aspect, the builders of the body, and the reincarnating jivas are the son aspect, yet the two are but one, and the result is the divine hermaphroditic man. 6. The law of love. Love in the personality develops gradually through the stages of love of self, pure and simple and entirely selfish, to love of family and friends, to love of men and women, until it arrives at the stage of love of humanity, or group love consciousness, which is the predominant characteristic of the ego. A master of compassion loves, suffers with, and remains with his kind and kin, a love that expresses not only love of humanity, but also love of the deva evolutions in their totality, including all forms of divine manifestation. Love was the impelling motive for manifestation, and love keeps all in ordered sequence. Love bears all on the path of return to the Father's bosom, and love eventually perfects all that is. Love demonstrates through the concrete rays, the aspects of divinity forming the persona that hides the oneself. The sixth ray of devotion and the sixth law of love have a close alliance, and on the sixth plane comes the powerful working out in the lower triad, the personality, of the law of love. On the astral plane, the home of the desires, originate those feelings which we call personal love, low at first, but as evolution proceeds it shows itself as a gradual expansion of the love faculty, passing through the stages of love of mate, of family, of surrounding associates, of one's entire environment. Patriotism will give place to love of humanity. The astral plane is the most important for us, for in uncorrected desire lies the difference between the personality consciousness and that of the ego. 7. The law of sacrifice and death. This law links to the third law of disintegration, following the connection that always exists between the atmic and the physical plane. It controls the five-fold destruction of forms in the 5 lower worlds, and the law of death controls similarly in the lowest 3 worlds. The law of sacrifice is the law of death for the subtle bodies, whilst what we call death is analogous in the physical body. This law governs the disintegration of forms and their sacrifice to the evolving life, and is closely linked in its manifestation with the 7th ray. This ray is the one that largely controls, that manipulates, that geometrizes the form side, governing the elemental forces of nature. The physical plane is the most concrete exemplification of the form side, holding the divine life imprisoned or enmeshed at its densest point. In a mysterious way, this law is the reverse side of the first law of vibration. It is Vulcan and Neptune in opposition. End of page 64. The principle of mutation. The reason the 4th is a major round is because in this round 2 things happened. The spark of mind was implanted and the door was opened from the animal kingdom into the human, and another door opened later onto the path leading from the human kingdom into the spiritual. The 5th round is a major round because it marks a point in evolution where those who will achieve the goal, and those who will not, are sharply differentiated into 2 groups. The 7th is a major round because it will mark the merging of the Deva and human evolutions. Agni and the fire Devas. 1. Agni, the ruler of fire. Agni and the solar logos. The study now proceeds to that vitality which energizes and the life and animates, to the contemplation of the fire that drives, propels and produces the activity and organization of all forms. We are dealing with solar fire, with the essence of thought, with the coherent life of all forms, with the consciousness in its evolving aspect, or with Agni, the sum total of the gods. He is Vishnu and the sun, he is the fire of matter and of mind blended, he is the intelligence which throbs in every atom, he is the mind that actuates the system, the flame and that which the flame destroys. He is the animating life of the solar system and that life is the life of God, the energy of the Logos and the manifestation of the radiance which veils the central sun. Only as we become polarized in the cosmic etheric body and are no longer held prisoner by a dense material sheath do we come to a fuller understanding of the psychic nature of the Logos. He is not the solar Logos on the cosmic mental plane, for the egoic consciousness of the Logos is more than his physical manifestation. Agni is to the solar Logos what the coherent personality of a human being is to his ego in the causal body. B. Agni and the mental plane. There is a close connection between Agni, the sum total of the life force of the Logoic threefold personality, as he is seen at work on the mental plane, and that manifesting driving force, or intelligent will, which emanates from the cosmic mental plane. C. Agni and the three fires. In studying Agni in the solar system, we are considering his essential nature as actuating fire. We have seen that he is the threefold Logoic personality, but he is the threefold Logos in a subjective sense and the form aspect is only subsidiary. Agni, the Lord of Fire. Aspect fire, result subjective. Manifestation origin. Of energy objective. Manifestation. First. Will. Electric fire. Activity of spirit. The one life. Unity. Spiritual. Dynamic. Coherence. Synthesis. Central spiritual sun. The solar system, etheric and dense. Second. Love, wisdom. Solar fire, activity of consciousness. Egoism. Vitality. Magnetism. The seven heavenly men. The seven rays. The seven types of mind. The heart of the sun. The seven rays manifesting through the seven planetary schemes. Third. Activity. Fire by friction, activity in matter. Atomic vitality. The seven fires. The Akasha. The physical sun. The seven planes. End of page 65. End of chapter 13.